Well, C1 wasn't the only one excited seeing that. It wasn't quite the LJ, but an 8-0 run by himself after KD had given Golden State their first lead in seemingly forever. The Clippers, who most of us thought were probably mentally the toughest team all year, Doc, as good a job as any, are now going home for a Game 6. Casey Stern, the Hall of Famer G. Hill, B. Wood, well, coaches and players. So we sat here just a few days ago when the Golden State Warriors had blown the biggest lead we've ever seen blown in the playoffs. And immediately after they lost or won that last game to come back here and make this the closeout, Klay Thompson and others said, we are going to give our fans, through our play, an apology for what we did to them last time. That's why all of us thought, okay, message to be sent tonight. How are we sitting here 2.5 hours later with the result we just saw?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, I think, for the Clippers, a couple of things went right. First of all, collectively as a team, they played well. We said before the game going.
With the result we just saw.
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, I think, for the Clippers, a couple Nari had to play well, hadn't played well. He got it going, 26 points. Obviously, Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, they played okay, but not well enough at home, particularly in Game 4. They came out, had monster games. Patrick Beverley set the tone early. I mean, this team just showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of toughness. When we all thought that it would be over because of the very thing that you said after Game 2 and the way they dominated the Games 3 and 4, this Clipper team came out with a sense of purpose and belief. And aside from the first quarter, although they were only down 4 points, they pretty much outplayed them for most of the game, the second quarter, third quarter, and just did enough down the stretch and on both ends of the floor to get a win. But look, the big three for Golden State played well. I mean, in theory, they had enough points to win. They just couldn't stop the Clippers for the most part throughout the entire game.
They gave us 72 points in the last 19 minutes of the game that they blew that lead. Gave 72 in the first half. Doc Rivers, again, must be very proud of his group. We'll get a chance to hear from him in just a second. Meantime, we'll also hear from both coaches and players. Much more across the board. Don't forget Patrick Beverley, not just a playoff career high, Brendan, a career high in rebounds with 13 tonight. We'll talk about that and how he set the tone early in a minute. Here's Doc.
Down the 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I mean, they're up 3-2 still. But I just loved how we played. I really did. I thought, all we talked about is being us. We really felt, and I told our guys, they've been them in the series. We have yet to put a game where we are us through the game. And I thought tonight was more like us throughout. We kept attacking, we kept running, we kept spreading the floor, moving the ball. Pat Beverley, the grit he showed with the rebounds, the tough rebounds, Gal, I mean, that was us. That was our team today. And so that was great to see.
Tomer Zari from Clutch Point. Doc, we all knew Gallo's struggles coming into tonight. What did he do to get going? What was his key?
It was Gal. I mean, we did some things. I told you before the game, we thought there were places we could put him that would favor him. We did that. But Gal came through. He made the shots. We posted him a lot more, which I thought got him started, but it was more Gal. It was Gal being Gal. We needed it. We needed Lou. I mean, to beat this team in a game, you literally need everybody. And I thought every single guy came in, did their role. Each guy was a star in their role, and that's why we won the game.
Coach Tony Harvey, Sacramento Observer. You did mention Lou. He had a big second quarter and fourth quarter. But those fourth quarters, could you talk a little bit about, his mentality approaching those fourth quarters?
Yeah, he's a great scorer, just like Curry, just like Durant. In the games in LA, they were trapping him a lot, and so we took the picks away a lot tonight and ISO'd him with space. And I thought that gave him room to work. I thought the end of the second quarter, he did it over and over again. That got his rhythm. And when Lou gets his rhythm, he's tough to guard. His mentality in the fourth, he believes he's a closer. He is a closer. And he did that tonight for us. It was tough keeping him in. There was a stretch. We brought him in earlier than I wanted to in the third. And, it was tough because I wanted to give him a minute of rest. we really wasn't able to do that. But he kept going for us.
Doc, 2 wins in the place that's considered one of the hardest places to win. Well, 2 losses at home. You almost want to play Game 6 here?
No, I'd rather play Game 6 in LA. I really do. We owe that to our fans. You know, we want to do right by them. So we're looking forward to going home. You know, my guess is there were probably not a lot of tickets sold because I don't think a lot of people thought that the Game 6 would happen. I think our guys did, and that's all that mattered tonight. But when we get back, we need them all there. Yeah, that's what I yelled, you know, before the game. Ralph told me, and Ralph never speaks to me before the game when I'm on the floor. And he walked up to me, first time ever, and said, Coach, I've had 20 people to congratulate me on my career and say good luck. Like tonight is the end of Ralph. Please do something about that. So Ralph, we did. That's all good.
Colin Wardhen here, CBS Sports. You mentioned that trying to get Gallinari going a little bit in this game. Do you think you were successful in that? And
Yeah, we were. He was good. I think he'll be even better in Game 6. I think he now knows where he can score from. You know, at the end, you know, he had a couple of turnovers. That's the areas we didn't want him to have the ball. And, you know, we got him back out of that spot. But he was absolutely terrific.
Coach, Will Gottlieb, Bleacher Report. You talked pregame about trying to do different things to get Steph out of his rhythm, to get KD out of his rhythm. Obviously, KD was really great tonight, but Steph had kind of a cold shooting night. Can you talk a little bit about like the top blocking and just what goes into the process of deciding to try something unconventional on these guys?
Well, you have to. You know, I think the key is I have a group of guys that are willing to try it. You know, they're willing to do different stuff. And, you know, some of the top blocks don't make a lot of sense when you think about it. There's nobody on the backside. But what we're trying to, and they're doing it, is every time they don't get the ball, it's a good thing. Our catchers, which we call our help guys, are in support. You know, they're trying to take away the back cuts. They've done a pretty good job there. We're trying to trap Steph whenever he gets the ball off a pick. So we're just trying our best to keep him in the box as much as we can, because, you know, when he gets loose, nothing good happens. I thought he dominated the first 3 games, or the first 2 games, and we just felt like we had to do something, and so it's been good so far.
Doc, there was sort of a high after that Game 2 win, and you knew the Warriors were going to come out firing Game 3. How do you prevent another sort of game?
Well, I think we've learned the lesson, you know, and they taught us it. They really did. So they were a great teacher for us. And, you know, we had that mentality coming in here tonight, you know. And so our guys came out and played.
Patrick Beverly was also on in that first half. 4 or 5, you know, 3-point land. Could you talk a little bit about his play tonight?
Yeah, I thought him and Jermichael in particular. You know, Jermichael spacing the floor. You know, we took advantage of that lineup they had early. You know, with Jermichael being able to stay out and Bogut's back. Pat was the other guy they were trying to help off of. We told him stay behind the 3 and let it fly. He did that tonight. That's how we have to play. You know, Pat offensively was great, but the rebounds, the deep. When you look at this game at the end of the game, he was matched up with 4s and 5s under the basket, and he kept coming out with the rebound. It just tells you how tough he is. He is a tough dude, and he showed that tonight. All right, guys. Thank you. All right, Ralph.
First of all, and we'll talk about this more as we go along throughout the show, Doc's had an unbelievable career. He's a champion. This is as good a job of coaching as you're going to see when you talk about creating a culture. But we got to talk about Patrick Beverly, who sets that tone. He's been that guy all year. He had 14 boards. I mean, you're looking at guys like Bogut, the size of the guys under there, who had 5 rebounds, by the way. That's a career high, not just a playoff high. Talk about his impact, Brendan, and how that kind of set everything that we saw tonight with this team.
Patrick Beverly is aggressive. He's a pit bull. He doesn't back down. All he knows how to do is fight. And fight on that basketball court isn't about being tough and physically fight. It's about grinding. It's about going out there doing whatever the team needs you to do. Patrick Beverly's not known as a rebounder, but guess what? His team needed him to get some rebounds, so he went and got 14 of them tonight. Got hit 5 3-pointers. So when you have a guy like Patrick Beverly on your team that's willing to do all the little things and then echo that to his teammates, it makes Doc Rivers' job easier because he can say, hey, guys, we got to go out there and we got to do this. And then Patrick Beverly pretty much embodies that. This is the reason why the Clippers are even in the playoffs, because there are some teams that did make the playoffs that probably have more talent than this team. They didn't have more grit. They didn't have more fight. They didn't have more toughness. They didn't have that oomph, that intangible that the Clippers have. And listen, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this series. But I will say this. The Clippers are not going to go out without a fight. And definitely this game signifies that. Patrick Beverly's game signifies that. And then when you even look at the game that they did win previously in the series when they were down 31, how many teams down 31 to the Warriors actually come back? You know, a lot of teams start looking towards the next game, but not these Clippers. They have a tremendous heart. And I know we talk about that in sports a lot, and it seems a little cliche, but the Clippers really have that. They have tremendous heart, tremendous determination, the culture that you talked about with Doc Rivers.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is definitely there. And Patrick Beverly from day one, he's been saying, hey, we the best team in LA. A lot of people thought he was crazy when he first said it.
He's not crazy. He's right.
Yeah, we thought he was crazy. And it's not because they have the most talent. It's because they have the most heart.
Hey, you think about this. Staples is going to be rocking on a huge Friday night game against the Warriors in the playoffs. But it won't be LeBron. It'll be Harold and Patrick Beverly and Lou Will. And one play, G, that I want to look at that to me signifies everything that you need to know about the Clippers all year. Harold had come off a not scoring offensive possession. This is him on D, trying to guard Durant. Watch him fall off and find Looney.
What a play. Come on, man. That's what defense is all about.
Unbelievable defensive play.
Multiple efforts. You stop KD from getting to the basket. Then you find a way to get to the weak side and make not just a regular block, but an incredible block on Kevin Looney. Wow.
That's an unbelievable play, but that kind of sets exactly what they're about, right?
Well, I mean, that play right there, the extra effort guarding Kevin Durant out there, sliding your feet, being active, making them uncomfortable, and then, you help the helper right there. Typically that comes from someone else, but he's just making that kind of effort. 4 minutes, 44 seconds left in the game, big time block. That's who they are. And Doc Rivers, I love what he said. Like, we had to just be who we were, and we hadn't had a chance to really do that over the course of an entire game. This is a team that, the start of the season, you look on paper, you're just trying to sort of figure out how and why they're able to be successful. How were they able to get this win? How were they able to come back? And there's certain things that are just hard to quantify. I mean, I think the toughness, the togetherness, the grit, collectively is what, as Brendan said, is what separates them, what really differentiates them. And that was on display for 48 minutes here tonight.
I'm sure Coach Kerr respects everything that they did, and at the same time, not going to like it very much.
Defensive effort tonight.
Not good.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve, did you see any of this coming as you led up to the game today?
Well, it's been a year where, things haven't gone exactly smoothly all the time. So I'm not surprised by anything. But I expected to come out and play better and to win the game. But it's the NBA playoffs. This is a 7-game series, and you got to play. You got to defend and with some urgency. And we gave up 129 points on our home floor, and they shot 54%. And we weren't right from the very beginning. 37 points we gave up in the first quarter. Everything that we did in LA, we did not do tonight. We sort of seemed to take it for granted that we were going to be okay. But, I said it before the game, this Clipper team has been scrapping and clawing all year, and you knew they weren't going to go down without a fight. And I thought Patrick Beverly came in, just kicked our butts right away. We got like 3 offensive rebounds, and He came out with more energy than we had, and that set a tone.
Tim Calicom of The Athletic. Steve, do you chalk this to focus, or was it something physical that maybe some of your guys just didn't feel it today?
Usually, if it's focus for us, we have a lot of turnovers. We had 8 turnovers. We had 31 assists and 8 turnovers. So, offensively, we obviously were fine. It's just defense. We just did not defend, and the playoffs are all about defense. And we had 2 great efforts down in LA. I just think we let our guard down. I just think I didn't have them ready to fight, obviously, because we didn't fight.
Coach Logan Murdoch, NBC Sports Bay Area. You were getting in at the end of the third quarter. It seemed like you were within 5, and you took Kevin out and put McKinney in. What was the reasoning for that? Because they went on a bit of a run after that happened.
We had played Kevin heavy minutes in the first half. We only gave him, I think, 4 minutes rest, and so we decided we were going to start him in the fourth quarter, and we had to rest him at some point. So we gave him a couple minutes rest right there.
Anthony Slater, The Athletic. You bottled up Lou Williams in Los Angeles. He obviously got going again tonight. What changed?
Everything we did in LA, we did not do defensively, and I'm not going to go into detail about what we didn't do, but you can watch the tape. It's pretty obvious. We were not aggressive. We were not flying around. The game came way too easily for them.
Art Spander, the Maven. Steve, everybody seemed to be a step slow when they got inside and just reaching out and trying to grab people. Was that, somebody mentioned physically. The team tired at all, or was it just mental, just not there?
We just didn't have it for whatever reason. We're coming off 2 days rest, so there's no reason to be tired. But I didn't like the sense of urgency or the lack thereof. From the very beginning of the game, Beverly was running past us for offensive boards. We let Gallinari out of the box. That we gave him a couple wide open shots for no apparent reason. We just didn't have the urgency to pick him up. And same as in game 2. It's hard to stop a team. Once they get loose. And so while I liked our energy in the second half, it was a little late, and I didn't particularly like our execution. We played harder, but we didn't play smarter, and that's what we've got to do. And I'm very confident that we'll do that on Friday.
Steve, Mark Medina, Bay Area News Group. What was your view on Draymond's technical in the third?
I have no idea what happened, so it's hard to comment when I didn't even see what was going on, so I won't comment on that.
C.J. Peterson, San Francisco Examiner. Steve, Montrezl Harrell has been incredibly consistent this series. What's been so hard to contain for you guys as defensively to kind of contain his game? What's been the issue on that?
Well, he's a good player. He's a really good player, and he's powerful, and he's got a nice touch in the paint. And they did a good job of getting him the ball tonight. We did a good job in games 3 and 4 of keeping him out of his comfort zone, and he got right to the front of the rim tonight.
Anthony Slater with The Athletic. How has their starting lineup changed the equation in this series?
Well, they've got a little floor spacing now. With JaMychal Green, he made 3 threes tonight, and so they're able to space us out a little bit better. And so they've done a nice job making some adjustments, and but they made that adjustment last game too, and we handled it. So we'll watch the tape and figure out what we've got to do better.
Coach Kerr, Paul Antunes, ESPN Brazil. You spoke to the inconsistency of your team defensively in this series. After 87 games this year, what would you say the identity of your club is?
What's the identity of our club? Back-to-back champions?
I'm saying for this particular season.
I don't know. We're really good. We're hanging banners. What's our identity? We play fast. We play defense. I don't know. Maybe we should do an instructional video later, and we'll send it to you.
See, Steph never really seemed to get a rhythm tonight. Is it something that they were doing, or was he just a little bit off his game?
He was a little off tonight. He got going a little bit, and he shot the ball well, but he had that early foul on Shamet, which was kind of a strange play. It was, shot clock violation, or very close to it, and I didn't feel like he was locked in, and so he got off to a slow start and couldn't ever really get himself going. And I give them credit. They did a good job defensively on him too. But we've got to do a better job of finding ways to free him up as well.
Coach Kirk, Tony Harvey, Sacramento Observer. The Clippers, are they playing like an AC team? What's your assessment of this team?
Clippers are a hell of a team. They won 48 games. The West is amazingly deep this year. So 5 through 8 went down to the last day or a couple days. So they have our respect for sure. They outplayed us tonight, and they got a hell of a team. So we got to bring it if we're going to beat them.
Last one, maybe.
Mindy Bach, ABC 7 Sports. There were points in the third quarter, Steve, though. 3 missed threes in a row, 4 missed threes in a row in the fourth quarter, and another string of shots. They seem to be good looks, open shots. What were your takes on just kind of some of the open misses tonight?
I thought we were in a rush in the second half. I thought, we were, a little anxious because we were behind. And even when there was plenty of time left, I felt like we were rushing things. So you can't play that way. You've got to play with confidence, but you got to play with poise and execution. And I felt like we were in a rush. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Lots of players in here shortly for us. We're going to have Kate.
You know who was in a rush to get to the tunnel, get back into playing into LA, screaming, "We're going back"? Lou Will.